When I was about 16, 17 years old, then Mrs. Reda Bedi, or Sister Palmo, asked me to go with her and help her to translate for her and also to build the new nunnery in Tilokpur. And she will also teach me English, so we will benefit each other. So she wanted me to go with her for some time, and I went with her. And there she arranged to lots of people to sponsor young girls from school, like around 14, 15 years old, many of them, to come to this place and experiment whether they would like to become nuns or not for the whole of winter vacation. And lots of people, supported that. And I was supported by a very famous Indian professor called Suniti Kumar Chatterjee. He was a professor in Calcutta University, and he knew more than 18 languages. And then we corresponded with him. And then he used to write me letters, and one of his letters was, I kept it with me for a long time. He's told me that you must study 3 languages very deeply. He said, you must study Sanskrit. He said, because Sanskrit is a very ancient language, very beautiful language, and it's the language in which many great philosophies and many important literature was taught in. So if you knew some Sanskrit, you would, enrich your learning of the heritage of the whole of world in a deep way, and it will help you in many ways. And it is also something that you could contribute to the world by knowing this language, because it is almost dead now. Not many people knows, nobody speaks, and it is a very, very important language. And second, he said, you must learn Tibetan. You must learn Tibetan very well, because Tibetan is almost like Sanskrit, as it also holds, it preserves a very great knowledge, and the culture and literature and philosophies, almost like Sanskrit. And unlike Sanskrit, it's a living language. And there is still many people, many scholars, many practitioners who can use this language, and all the wisdom and very important and beneficial information, not only information but experiences and wisdom that is kept in it, are still alive. But it is in danger. This is a very important living world heritage, but it is being destroyed now, and there is danger that this will be lost in near future. And so you must, not just as a Tibetan, but also as as a world citizen, you must learn this language and try to preserve the knowledge and wisdom and experience that is treasured, that is kept in this language. And because there's so much in this language which we have lost in Sanskrit, and unless we do something about it now, these treasures could also be lost very soon. So therefore, you must, really give lots of attention and interest and energy to deeply study this language and the wisdom that is in that. Then he said, the third, you must learn English, because English is the language of business. So if you don't know English, you cannot go anywhere and you cannot communicate with lots of people, and with this you will be able to go anywhere and connect with anybody, and so you can have a kind of a capacity to communicate with the world. So these three languages you must learn. I think it is a little bit like that. So the Tibetan language is a language which has, because the Tibetans for more than 1,000 years did almost nothing but to preserve and practice and kind of delve into these ancient wisdoms, and did lots of practice, lots of research, lots of studies, and Tibetan, language has all of that preserved there. And so therefore, and it's a very vast literature. It's not just, Buddhism, but even Buddhism, what is there, is not just like one religion. It's lots of philosophies, lots of different practices, so therefore, it's such a vast subject that even if one studies the whole life, you cannot really fully get the whole thing. Like I've been studying Tibetan all my life, and I used to think that I'm a quick learner. I learned Tibetan alphabet and English alphabet, reading and writing in 2 days. And I passed 5 classes in 1 year. And I'm also very interested in studies. But if you ask me how much I know from the Tibetan literature, I really don't know anything. There is so much more to learn. It's so deep. There's so much. Even now I'm learning many things. Each day when I read things. So therefore, it's a very vast. It's very deep, and literature and treasure there. So therefore, I think it is very important, not only for the Tibetans, but for everybody. Try to understand and acknowledge these, potential, treasure that is really there, but it's kind of even after many years now, we're just only in the surface. We haven't been able to really get the whole of it, or even little bit, of it. So therefore, it would be, I think, very good, very useful, very important for the future of the world, for the future of the humanity. And it would help a lot if more people studied it, more people went deep into it, more people researched in it. And there are lots of things which even most of us Tibetans have yet to do. Lots of research and understand more deeply. And this, together with and this Tibetan literature, is not something that is just only in the past. It is something that can be used by scientists as well, by anybody, to research on lots of things, especially about the mind and about the way we are, where our experiences are, and things like that, which is not even a little bit touched in the present time, even through the science and other studies. So that's why it's one reason why we have to study, and I think it's very important. But of course, Tibetan language is spoken and preserved in a very small part of India, in the world. Only Tibetans in some Himalayan regions speak it. So it is not a language of business. You cannot, it's hardly possible to get a job because you learn Tibetan. And also, Tibetan language is very different from every other language. There is almost, whether it's German or English or Chinese or, Indian languages, there's nothing which is, like same or similar to Tibetan language. It's not that Tibetan language is extremely difficult. It's not that. Tibetan language is basically simple in a way. But because it is so different from everything else, therefore it's very difficult, So if somebody really understands this and can study, I think it's not so difficult because nowadays I have met lots of people from the West, Americans, Germans, Spanish, Italians, English, lots of them who really speak Tibetan very well, and not just speak Tibetan, but they can also read and write and understand and translate. The translations have become much better, and things like that. So I think it is something that if you just want a kind of regular job, then maybe you don't need this too much. But if you want to go a little bit deeper in things, then it is something I think worthwhile to do. But of course, it's something that is, that's something you need to have some patience. You need also one reason why it's not so easy is, even if there are Tibetans, there are lots of Tibetans who speak Tibetan language, but they don't know the Tibetan literature. And there are some who have a little bit understanding of Tibetan literature, but don't speak Tibetan. So therefore it's a not easy situation, but now a little bit more and more, even like these facilities for studies are becoming a little bit better. Some institutions are happening where they train people to study Tibetan, and not just train Tibetan, but also, teach the translation and things like that. So I'm extremely grateful that you people are doing this to try to, encourage and also give facilities to learn and teach Tibetan in German or in Germany or everywhere else. I also just recently got in touch with a group of people called Dharma Sagar, translators training kind of group or institute. And there are lots of different things happening now. And so I think young people will have a little bit better opportunities to learn Sanskrit, not Sanskrit, Tibetan also. So, I don't know, maybe that's all I can say. So, I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you very much.